Episode 10. Ryan, we made it to 10.
10, halfway to our goal of 20.
Who's letting us do this? We shouldn't be allowed to do this. Today we have a fantastic guest.
Very special.
Wow. A Bulldog true and true. I really think he bleeds black and yellow. Joe Van Giesen, welcome to the podcast.
Man, just super excited to be here. Absolutely. The other day I was walking my dogs. I kind of tripped a little bit, scraped my elbow, and boom, there it is, golden black right there.
There it is. Oh, I love it. I love it. Joe Van Giesen is the Assistant Vice President of Enrollment at Adrian College, and he also has many other great things that he does on campus here. He's also the founder of Focus Solutions, a life coaching company. But we want to get right into it. We kind of want to start on the sports side of it. Kind of talk about how you grew up in sports and how you got to where you are today. So can you tell us about how you started in sports as a kid?
Yeah. So my dad, Adrian alum, the Goose as he's known, started my brother and I out in sports when we were very young. I started skating, being on the ice when I was 3 and 4 years old. I played baseball and a couple other sports, obviously, when I was younger. But it's just been, I think athletics is just life's greatest teacher, and it just builds discipline and those types of things. And my parents wanted to instill that in me. My dad was a college athlete here at Adrian. He golfed and played basketball and baseball for a little bit. So just I think that's what started as like a kind of a family thing. And then, being able to continue in college and play at the ACHA level and things like that was just, icing on the cake for me, just to be able to continue to play.
Wow. So, Dad being an alum, did you have a choice if you were able to go to any other MIAA school, or was it Adrian or bust?
Yeah, no, it was definitely. So I looked at Grand Valley, and they built a rink my senior year. So the first hockey team at Adrian College was like my senior year in high school. And then it was just kind of, there's pictures of me when I was like 5 years old in Adrian College, like T-shirts and stuff. So like I'd been familiar, and I was definitely a small school kid, so I didn't have the greatest grades and stuff like that. So it wasn't like I was, Harvard or Michigan, so Adrian was like a perfect academic fit for me to give me the support I needed. And then obviously the lure of playing hockey, I thought at the time, which is a pretty funny story. I think we'll probably get into it, but yeah, I thought I want to, come here and play hockey. So the decision was pretty easy at that time. But funny little side story, my dad, when I got the job to start working in admissions and recruiting, he wrote me a note, and he said, like, help kids go to college. He's an educator. Help kids go to college and, pursue education, but don't let them go to Hope. And that was like, that's just like, that's my dad. And, that's, the MIAA is something I grew up with too. And, the rivalries are definitely there. So, yeah, definitely can't go to Hope.
That's incredible.
Do you have that quote written on the wall anywhere? I feel like that's a good one.
Yeah, I definitely refer to it. And sometimes I try to motivate our staff at admissions, and we kind of got away from this, but a couple of years ago we had a kind of a charge to get an item in your office that reminds you of another institution. They're always out there working. So in my office there's an anchor bookend that reminds me of Hope College. I got a couple orange and blue ties that I'll wear on big days where, people say, oh, you like orange? I don't like orange. I just want to compete, at the highest level. So
wow,
just a good reminder.
That's competitive.
Oh yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
That's equivalent to like a bulletin board, right? Where you're just slapping some news articles like in the football team. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just,
same stuff.
Yeah,
what are they doing?
That's I remember one of my college buddies, one of my best friends, shout out Nate. We used to write in our lockers. We used to have a list of like the kids that were nationally ranked or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that, like, we joked that was the hit list. Yeah. And now to this day, like, he's in pharmaceutical sales. He has like the other people in his area on his like board, like above his, like in his office. And he like sends me Snapchats of it occasionally. I'm like, that's man, awesome. It never leaves you.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
That's great. So Joe, tell us a little about your time as a student athlete at Adrian College. What was that like? ACHA hockey, still kind of new, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So I got here, and we only had a Division I ACHA program at the time. So I went out for tryouts. I was unrecruited. I didn't make too many people's radar in my young career. I grew 6 inches in college.
Wow.
So it was pretty crazy. So I was like this super, and I'm a tall, skinny guy right now, but I was a short, skinny guy in high school and stuff like that. So I went out for the team, and again, I told everybody I'm playing hockey. This is awesome, and I get it to tryouts, and I realized there's other college hockey players on the ice, and my goal was to literally survive and then quit. That was what I was like. I was like, I just want to make it through without being murdered by one of these dudes. They're just men amongst me. And I remember thinking, like, this is it. My career's definitely over or whatever. So fast forward, definitely got cut. Thank God, because I would have died at that level of hockey. But so did a bunch of other guys. A lot of guys, still want to compete at a high level and still play good hockey, but didn't make that team. And again, that beautiful facility got a lot of kids that just kind of self-recruited essentially. So my buddy, shout out to Zach Ritchie. Every time I tell the story, I always, wouldn't have been able to be possible without Zach Ritchie, but he and I met with President Docking and basically said, hey, there's, 15, 20 kids that just got cut that really want to play. And, I'll never forget it, President Docking, and the only way he can do it, he was like, Joe, give me a list and we'll do it right. And,
that's fantastic.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and we got 22 kids, some lacrosse guys join the squad, and that first year, we ended up we went 13-0-1. We tied a game and won 13 games, and just really cool experience in the sense that we were able to start something through the support of the administration and just like the facilities and resources that we had. But yeah, we had a lot of really talented players because there were all these lacrosse guys that were like unreal lacrosse players that were like, yeah, I'll play club hockey on the side.
So that's when you started
awesome.
recruiting.
I was literally like hitting the pavement, hey, you're sick of lacrosse, you want to play hockey, and it worked out. So.
And did you guys have a coach?
Yeah, that's what President Docking, he
Gotcha.
hired a full-time coach, and I mean, it was still early on. The ACHA is such a quality, opportunity for student athletes right now. But again, 12 years ago, it was club hockey at that point. It was different. So, relative to the market, we were like kings. We got, Bulldog 1 took us to games where other teams like Michigan State would come and play us, and they would drive their cars to play us. So we had the upper hand for sure, but it's good.
Man, that's awesome. That's such a cool experience for you. And then kind of talk about how the student athlete experience, at Adrian has kind of changed since your time now, still being involved kind of on the athletic side.
Yeah, I think the constant. There's definitely some changes, but the constant has been, this never arrive mentality. That's something else that I would attribute to, kind of the leadership here is that, there's always room to improve, and we're not perfect, and, trying to understand where those opportunities are to improve in athletics and with hiring good coaches and things like that. The changes, though, I think are just, how legitimate I really do feel like Division III athletics and, ACHA in particular are.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize just, the level of athlete, every high school kid thinks, oh yeah, I'm good enough to play. And it's a wake up call. And when I was coaching here, that was one of my biggest roles as an assistant coach was kind of letting people know, hey, you're really good. But so is everybody else, and you're really good and you're 18, and they're really good and they're 22. So I think that's been the shift. Just watching Division III and ACHA and other club related sports, again like club baseball. it used to be like, guys throwing the gloves on the field and playing, and now again we have like totally legitimate facilities and programs and coaching staff and things like that. So it's been fun to watch sport emerge and change. But I think the Adrian way has actually stayed pretty similar.
Yeah. So tell us a little about kind of take us through. You graduate from Adrian College. What makes you want to stick around?
Yeah. Honestly, I had 30,000 reasons at the time. I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I had a management degree, and there was an opening as a missions counselor, and it paid $30,000. And I remember thinking, "Oh man, I am the richest man alive." It's just my parents were both teachers. I had pretty humble upbringing, which instilled in me, again, just that work ethic and that grind. But just to be able to say like I got a big boy job, I thought was really, really cool. And then I just had no clue at the time, how impactful that first job would be as an admissions counselor, and how much I would just love the work I was doing. So, I mean, what I kind of took from being an admissions counselor, going in the classroom and recruiting kids and having conversations with people is I was just constantly evaluating myself. And, I go in and okay, what hit in that classroom? Like, what did people respond to? What didn't they? At the time, we were very, very lucky to be autonomous. Our staff, Frank Rebar, at the time was, like, hey, you be you on the road, and that was cool because I could create, a process that worked. And I kind of just took that and ran with it. But yeah, I was very, very fortunate to kind of find a niche right away, even though I had no idea. Like, never in my life was I like, man, admissions would be awesome. I didn't even know it was a job, until like I literally graduated. So I graduated, and kind of at the end of the year we figured it out. So I graduated, and a week later I moved across the road to Renfrew Drive, and just right behind the tennis courts, and started working. So I was super fortunate.
And did you have any influences too? You talk about how like you were learning by being autonomous, and I feel like that's one of the best ways to learn. But did you have any influences as far as a coach or a person on staff that was kind of showing you how to do things that you were drawing inspiration from?
Yeah, absolutely. We had a really good group early on. Rob Magyar definitely sticks out. He was just Mr. Adrian at the time. He was kind of everything I wanted to be, and I liked his approach. He taught me, kind of be your own person, even if you didn't realize it. He didn't care. He's like, you just got to do things. You got to make decisions. And again, I think that supportive culture of like being yourself and kind of thing. But it really was like a time for me where it was a culmination of a lot of leaders, a lot of coaches when I was younger, parents and friends, and then I was just on my own. So you do a lot of driving, you're on the road a lot, and it's just you and your thoughts, and it's a dangerous place, but it can also be a very, very rewarding place, when you do that self-evaluation. So that's one of the things that I really, focus on now in my business too, is just you got to be a student of your life, and the more evaluating, the more awareness you can bring. So I definitely had amazing, influences, but I also, took it upon myself to do the work, that self-evaluation, which I encourage to everyone to do.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Two things that you said there. One, I mean, we can always get better, right, in anything we're doing. And two, I think the idea of just being yourself, authenticity and leadership go hand in hand. Like, I think you can't, be an authentic leader if you're pretending to be someone else. So I think that's super sweet. Yeah. One thing I did want to backtrack to before we go back to commercial. So you were coaching, won 3 natties. Yeah. Kind of a big deal.
3 rings.
I was there. I didn't win any of them, but I was there. I was on the bench.
Yeah. Talk about like that experience of being a part of that. I'm sure that was special.
Yeah, I think that goes back to the whole mentality of kind of what we try to do at Adrian is we were just so fortunate, the talent on those teams, because they came to be Division I and ACHA guys. And some of them came to be Division III NCAA guys. And for whatever reason, time schedule or, didn't get the break or whatever, they ended up on the D3 team, ACHA. And we're just the right group. They had a lot of fun. It was a very, very colorful group as far as like personalities. But man, they could play. And my dad always said in coaching, it's easy to go to the circus when you have all the horses. and that's man, it's true. I motivated. I think I was the guy, that was kind of like the team guy, made sure morale was good, help people's, feel their insecurities, make sure they're feeling good. But bottom line is they put the puck in the net and they could stop it too. And we just had a really talented group, and Trevor Markovich and Brett Berger, some great head coaches. Cross did a great job too in the 3 years. I actually, kind of worked with multiple coaches. But just a good group of guys. And I think that Natty experience, what I really take from it is that it's just a deeper connection. When you go on a road, trip like that, you go through ups and downs that, really forge a connection. So a lot of those guys still keep in touch, which is really, really cool too.
Doug was a member of Coach Doug was a member of those teams.
Shout out Coach Doug.
Yeah, dude. He did. I remember vividly. We needed some talent. We just were thin and on D, and he's like a forward, and we moved him back to D. Pretty much like right before nationals and through regionals, and again, it was just a weird, just unique team that was selfless. And Doug, was one of those guys, like we needed somebody that could make a breakout pass, and that was Doug, and he'd get it done. And we're just kind of all about the the work that you put in that no one sees, and he was one of those dudes that just get it done. And I love Doug. He's a good dude.
Maybe a future podcast guest.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, if he works hard, maybe one day.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Well, this has been a great first segment. Next, we're going to talk a little more about your role at the college now, your coaching business now. We are going to send it to Destin for a little break. You are listening to WVAC 1079 AC Coaches Corner. Sweet. Unbelievable. Mississippi to Philly, Albuquerque to Chat Town. I got the crowd yelling, bring them out, bring them out. All the hot girls yelling, bring them out, bring them out. All the dope boys yelling, bring them out, bring them out. Front the back gate yelling, bring them out, bring them out. Get with other southern rapper hooded than this. I got rich and I'm still in a hooligan clique. You be rapping by blow, I don't move in the
and you're listening to the Coaches Corner on WVAC 107.9 FM. And we'll be right back with more.
The Production House provides opportunities for students to learn and grow live on the airwaves, just like Matt Kibbe.
I've gotten a chance to create a relationship with coaches and teams and learn more from people instead of trying to teach myself something. Gotten an opportunity to expand my knowledge of sports, hone in on my skills as a broadcaster, learn about equipment in different ways. You get more of a connection with professors as well.
Providing opportunities, growing leadership. The Adrian College Media Production House. Thanks for tuning in. If there was one word Adrian College was going to use to describe the communication arts program at Adrian College, it would be unique. Students find themselves on the radio, in front of and behind the camera, and directing their own programs. Students learn in a personalized environment that sets them up for a world of opportunities. Are you ready for your moment in the limelight? Learn more about the Rush Communications Center and Adrian College's communications program by visiting adrian.edu today. Adrian College is looking for leaders, student athletes with the tenacity to keep the Bulldogs at the top, the forefront, in and out of the classroom. The Bulldogs are looking for talent, character, hard work, grit, leaders who can electrify sold-out crowds, gut out a last-line shift, will their team to victory, hit a grand slam in the bottom of the ninth, and be a part of a legend in the making. Think you have what it takes to become a Bulldog? Visit adrian.edu to learn more.
We continue to take pride and learn from Asa Mahan's leadership today. We continue to take pride and learn from Asa Mahan's leadership today. 161 years of commitment to harnessing the power of creativity, ingenuity, community, and academic excellence. 161 years of commitment to harnessing the power of
the world is going to feel like it's shrinking.
U.S. News and World.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, bring 'em out. It's hard to yell when the barrel's in your mouth. Come on. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. Hey.
Welcome back to AC Coaches Corner on WVAC 107.9. We're sitting here with the great JVG, Joe Van Giesen. We've had a great conversation so far, pertaining to a lot of sports, but I like how we talked, you opened up about how athletics is just it's a metaphor for life, right? And it's just such a great way to build life skills.
Absolutely.
And now kind of getting into it more of what you're doing now, current day. You are the Assistant Vice President of Enrollment at Adrian College, and you've had great success. You've been a part of consistent enrollment growth. How have you done it? Everyone knows on campus that you're a great leader, but tell us how.
Yeah, I'd say my official job title is I'm a life changer and a dream maker, and I think that when you attack life like that, that's how you get the outcomes. I have actually Dan Phelps recommended me this book. He was a former ACHA coach at Adrian. Built a foundation that led to those national championships, and he recommended a book called Leave No Doubt by Mike Babcock. Absolute must read. But it's just about leaving everything out there, and I never have a enrollment goal. We have them; they're given to us, absolutely. But I've hit or exceeded every goal that I've ever been given at Adrian, and it has nothing to do with that motivation, because motivation can leave you at some time. But I have a leave no doubt philosophy every day, that have I done everything that I could possibly do to impact someone else's life? And when you come from that space, it really opens it up, and the numbers and the goals and those things will follow. For example, you take a year, we got 700 kids, the largest class in Adrian College history. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of those kids were not admissions, students. That they were a ton of hard work and effort from athletics to recruit, such quality, athletic, minded students. So, we kind of saw like, hey, if we were just focused on our goal at admissions, we would have missed this huge opportunity to support and serve coaches. So in that year, we kind of made a shift to, working more directly with the coaching staff and supporting their initiatives. So what people don't realize is that we actually missed our quote unquote goal that year at admissions, but the college, thrived because we shifted to that service mindset first. So yeah, I would say, if you want to know why, where people say I'm a good leader, that's their perspective, but and I appreciate it, but it's that leave no doubt mentality. Like, and what that means is you got to do stuff you don't like to do, and like you got to do stuff that's hard. And there's a lot of people that can look themselves in the mirror and say they leave no doubt, but I genuinely strive to mean it. And a lot of long nights, a lot of calls, a lot of work goes in that, for sure.
I wrote down that leave no doubt, Mike Babcock.
It's fire.
Yeah, anytime you recommend a book, I'll be writing
That's
it down,
money.
Joe.
Yeah, it's a quick little read too.
Yeah.
Quick little read.
And that's something too. When I came here about a year ago, that's something that I've always said is that it's just so incredible how well admissions works with athletics here, and it's just I love how it's one goal, right? It's one Adrian College, and you guys do such a good job at that. So talk a little about positivity. We know you're an incredibly positive person.
Yeah.
Is that something you want from your staff? How do you approach positivity?
Yeah, it's really funny. So everything in life, including positivity, is a choice. The people that have it going on make the right choices. And what's funny is people think that I'm this super positive dude, but when you work for me or work with me, I bring an energy of positivity, absolutely, but it's critical. And I really pride myself on troubleshooting the negatives and understanding what the hurdles are, and then choosing to take the alternative path, right? So you get dealt a tough hand, now what? And what's the positive outcome that can come? Yeah, I guess a long time ago, I had a bad day, and I said, I don't want any more of those. Like, literally, hard days, yes, bad days, never. And are we going to have hurdles and things that we're going to have to face? Absolutely. But you don't have to ever have a bad day. That's your perception. So I've taken that mindset and applied it to positivity, because there's no time. I mean, we get such a limited time on this earth to be wasting it, woe is me, bad mindset. So I'm critical, but I choose positivity and give people hype, because it's just more fun. I guess that's where that comes from, for sure.
Yeah, and that's the the beautiful part about life. It really is all about choices.
Yeah,
and that's the best part is you get to decide. So that's something that's sweet. And speaking of kind of tough hands, I mean, how has like the pandemic affected you and your staff?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's created so many opportunities that I would never foreseen. Being able to work remotely with students, we do a lot more virtual one-on-ones now. It's shifted. It's pushed us to be stronger. I think everyone has had to toughen up and realize what we had and before the pandemic, and now nothing's guaranteed. So it's opened up a lot of doors. As far as we didn't need laptops. Like, we didn't have laptops. We just made calls. So we got laptops when the pandemic hit, so we could work from home. But now I'm on that thing all the time. Connecting with prospective students and coaches from high schools to share that vision of Adrian, and none of that would have happened. Or even in my side business, I didn't even see the infinite possibilities of connecting with people through video, and now it's like total second nature. So the hurdle, I think the hardest thing, right, the critical thing, was at one point everyone in the world was tested. And it was very difficult for a lot of people, including myself. I went through a very deep depression myself, and it was because I love connecting with others on a deep level. I'm actually a very introverted person. I'm not extroverted, but like getting to know someone very deeply is fuel for me, and I was missing that.
Yeah,
and everyone was missing that. So that, I think, was the hard part, is that there was something that no one had ever experienced, which is, you can usually lean on people But here I am. I'm a positive leader as defined by others, and I'm struggling with my own demons. And so to me that was tough. But man, what an opportunity! Like I'm just so fortunate to have the support in my life and the hardships that I've gone through to get me to now a space where I can help others, right? Because I can say I've been there, I've been severely, in a dark place, and I can get out, and I can help you get out, right? So yeah, it was not fun, it was not easy, but life doesn't always have to be fun. You just get to make it fun. But yeah, it's a great question for sure.
And we really appreciate the that type of answer, that honesty, and I think that's
man.
that authenticity again, just being you. It's sweet.
Such a big growth mindset too,
Yeah.
I think anytime you can look at a challenge like that and say this is an opportunity for me to get better, I think you're in a great place.
Yeah, that's a huge part of my business, but also the culture that I've tried to build is the growth mindset. And I came across this concept. I absolutely love it. Life-changing concept. But it talks about your Teachability Index. So what this index is, two variables. One, how willing are you to learn, right? So everyone's willing to learn. But why it's an index is two, how willing are you to change? Because again, I'm willing to not be depressed, but you got to make a lot of changes to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you ask yourself every day, how teachable am I? That would be like, man, you can grow so much, and it's that growth mindset. I had a call with my coach, so I have like a coach, a life coach myself, a couple of them trying to help me improve, and I got on the call last week, and I was like, man, everything's going great, like business is growing, school's great, wife's great, everything's all good. And he goes, man, I'm sorry for you, because that you should be terrified, because that's when when you're comfortable is when you need to really reevaluate. And I was like, man, you're right. And I just had a really relatively big month for my business. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, I just did this, and it's such a big deal. He goes, all right, well, double it. Like, what do you need to do to double it? And just, whoa, that Teachability Index. So what's cool about Teachability Index is it changes literally every second. You could be super high on an idea and really willing to change, and then boom, something happens, COVID happens, or a hurdle happens, and now who are you, right?
Right.
Your Teachability Index goes down to 0. So it's a scale. It's something you can actually say, okay, I'm a 9 in learning, and I'm 5 in willingness to change. So I'm whatever, multiply them out. I'm not a math guy, but yeah, it's cool. A little Teachability Index, that growth mindset for sure.
Yeah, I think I've taken more notes this session than I have most of undergrad.
You should get a focus coach.
So kind of speaking of that, like you have your own business, being the founder of Focus Solutions.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, your mission and, kind of how you got started.
Yeah. My mission of my coaching company is to powerfully serve and coach others as they reach their highest potential. And where that comes from is, again, I've been a student in my life for so many years, probably 5 years of intentional, like being a student of my life. And I've created a system that helps me evaluate, so I set my week in different categories of my life. So personally, what do I want to accomplish? Professionally, what do I want to accomplish? In my business, what do I want to accomplish? And then also in my community, and then also in my health and wellness. So every week I set essentially micro goals of what I want to get done, tasks I want to achieve. And then at the end of the week, you got to answer yourself. So I have an evaluation of, what I learned, what did I enjoy, what do I want to improve for next week? And you do that every week, your life changes significantly.
Yeah.
So I started thinking like I could probably share this with others. And during COVID, during the pandemic, I was working from home and I was getting up early and things like that. And I was like, I could help people that are struggling, right? That right. Are really having, don't have that resiliency, right? Yeah. So I started about a year ago now, and I've coached some really, really amazing people and things like that. And, the Focus Solutions, it's an acronym. Focus is an acronym. I got PJ Fleck, at Minnesota football coach, obviously well-known football coach, but he creates so many acronyms, and I was very impressed by that, and I love that. So I created Focus. which is find opportunities, create unique success. So every week I look and I evaluate my, essentially my workbook, all my notes and stuff, and I try to find more opportunities to create unique success. And it's that constant evaluation that leads to really, powerful change over time, right? It's just incremental change over time. So yeah, it's a little bit about my business. The accountability piece of having a coach is super helpful too. Yeah.
I think that's awesome, especially, setting those like kind of micro goals. I saw a quote on Twitter the other day, and it was the Navy SEALs that make it through buds are not the ones that worried about making it to the end, but making it to breakfast.
Yeah, man. That's awesome.
I think that's super powerful for people to be able to do that.
For sure.
Right. And can you talk a little too about kind of where you start with your clients in life coaching? Like, I assume everyone's kind of different, coming from a different spot. What does that process look like?
Yeah. So I send a quick, super free. It's like super easy evaluation of it's like a personality assessment. It kind of lets me know kind of just natural tendencies. But the number one thing I could recommend to leaders, if you want to be a real leader, you got to meet people where they are, and you gotta identify with their journey, right? So if I'm meeting with someone who's just really enjoying life and crushing it and wants to improve, I hit on that part of my life. If I meet someone who's in a rough spot, I got a million rough spots. I'm very fortunate to have difficulty in my life, and it allows me to connect. So I meet them where they're at, and that's probably the best feedback I've ever received. I got a testimonial the other day, and it was like, Joe meets me where I need to be met. And I thought that was really empowering, because, what's cool about coaching is I have a structure, I have a system, but it's so uniquely tailored. No client is the same, no life is the same. So, I meet you where you're at, and I take you where you want to go. I refer to myself as a project manager. So what you're paying for, coaching, again, it's a cool opportunity, but, I want you to reach the goals that you haven't, for whatever reason, reached already. So we talk about a default future, right? If you don't work with a coach, where are you going to be in 6 months? And you can explain that, like, I'm probably going to have the same thing and do the same stuff and feel the same way. So my job is to create a project plan so that you avoid that, like the plague, like avoid it, because that's mediocrity, being in the same exact spot for 6 months from now. So, that's kind of like the structure, I guess, of my coaching. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's some people that are probably interested in, especially hearing that, like where do they reach out to you for that? Absolutely.
So, you can send me an email at jvgfindyourfocus@gmail.com.
It's a fantastic email.
Oh man, JVG, man, that's me.
JVG.
JVG, findyourfocus@gmail.com. I would love to set up a call or a discussion with anybody, absolutely free, just to kind of see where you're at and see if I'm able to help you and serve you. But the other thing I would say, connect with me on Instagram, _real_JVG.
How's the handstand going? We saw the progress. Yeah, your Instagram is just electric,
dude. I'm not built for handstands. I do want to just throw that out there. I'm 6'1", and I'd say 85% legs, and I have very, very little to none strength in my arms. So it's been a journey. What I honestly have learned is just that it's just a commitment, man. It's just, if you want a result in life, there's nothing when I hit a handstand for 40 seconds, it makes me no different than if I can't do it. That's what I like about handstand, right? It's for nobody, and it's the thought that who I'm becoming, and no one sees that, and I don't need anybody. It's the fact that I'm spending so much time dedicating to a craft, because once I land a handstand, then I just remove handstand and put that next thing in front of me. What is that? But yeah, the handstand journey it's happening. I've gotten a 12-second handstand so far. Very excited, and I'm breaking through walls. I'm noticing where I can push my body and where I can push myself mentally. So I'm hoping you'll see a 20-second handstand soon, and then we'll get into some crazy stuff, maybe some one-hand stuff. Like, there's stuff that's out there. But one day at a time, I'm going to get there.
I'm ready to attack the day right
Oh,
now.
my gosh.
I am fired up.
Yeah. Anytime I scroll through Instagram and see a JVG
Guys,
video, I just light up,
Guys,
ready to go.
Dude, probably the coolest thing that's ever, the funniest thing, I guess, not the coolest, but this Adrian College kid, nice kid, I think he's a men's volleyball player, and I'm walking through Kane, and I start every one of my, this was totally happenstance, but I start every one of my my Instagram posts by saying, guys, what up? I don't know where it just happened. Guys, what up is like a thing now. There will be a t-shirt soon. Guys, what up?
Put me on the order.
Yeah. This kid comes up to me, and I'm talking to Steph Updike, like an associate of mine, and she goes, well, a friend of mine, not associate, and this kid goes, dude, it's the guys, what up guy. The guys, what up guy. And then he looks at me, he's like, guys, what up? And it's just cool, that people are following along and think it's inspiring or whatever, and anything that people take from it positively, I'm really happy about. So it's funny.
Joe, we're incredibly fortunate to have you
Thank you
at
so
Adrian
much.
College. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This is a conversation that's going to continue. I've learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to learning a lot more. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
This has been episode 10.
In the books.
10 double digits of AC Coach's Corner on WVAC 107.9.
Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, yeah. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out, hey. Bring 'em out, bring 'em out. VIP coming live from the VIP.